Hello everybody, today I have for you a Ojama list for the Edison format 2010. This is an idea that I got from my friend Ojama Garretts. He is also a YouTuber. Check out his stream, I'll leave a link below. He does a variety of content. Now, a few things you'll notice about this list off the back is that there's a lot of supplemental engines. Each of these supplemental engines synergize with Ojama in their own unique way. First engine you'll notice is a Gear Town engine. The reason for the Gear Town engine is because Ojamas have a field spell, so we're building off of that, building a field spell engine, allowing us to play 3 Terraforming and 3 Gear Town. When Gear Town is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special Gillatron from your deck or graveyard. Now, the most common way to trigger this is going to be by setting a field spell over a Gear Town. By doing so, based on the mechanics of the time, that field spell, the Gear Town, is destroyed and triggered by card mechanics, or by game mechanics. Now note, you do have to set the field spell over the Gear Town to do it, because Gear Town is a one effect, and will miss the opportunity to trigger if it is destroyed during a chain. Alright. Next up, you have your Ojama engine. Your Ojama blue, when destroyed by battle, can add 2 Ojama cards from your deck to your hand. This can be very powerful. Searching 2 cards, you can search your Ojama country and Ojama magic. But what's tricky about this is that once your opponent understands that you're playing Ojamas, they may try to avoid attacking Ojama blue, in which you will need to crash your Ojama blue to trigger it, which can be tricky. You have your 3 normal monsters, which you will search off of your Ojama magic. Now, the most common way you'll be triggering your Ojama magic will be by discarding it off of Ojama country after searching both these cards off of Ojama blue. By doing so, you net yourself a +4 real quick off of your Ojama blue. Now, Ojama country also has an additional effect. Not only can you send an Ojama from your hand to the graveyard to special summon an Ojama from the graveyard, when you control an Ojama, it switches the attack and defense of all monsters on the field. This is very good in a few ways in this deck. The ones I will note is that it makes Monarchs have 1000 attack, which allows you to crash your Ojama blue into them. It makes your Nimble Mega Hamster have 1800 attack. It also makes your Ancient Fairy Dragon have 3000 attack. And these are the ones that come up the most often. When your opponent's monsters attack and defense are switched, your 1800 attack Super Nimble Mega Hamster becomes quite powerful. Next up, you have your Ojama hats now, or not Ojama hats, magical hats. Magical hats allows you, during your opponent's battle phase, to set a monster in your main monster zone along with 2 spell or trap cards from your deck. And then during the end of the battle phase, they are all destroyed, except the monster. Now, this will allow you to trigger Gear Town and Oja Magic with magical hats. And then a huge advantage. Now, magical hats can be a tricky card because your opponent can play around it by clearing your board of monsters before they enter the battle phase with something like a Bryanak. That being said, when this card resolves, it is the most powerful card in the deck. You could say it's gimmicky, but it is so powerful that I feel like it warrants the spot, because it resolving will more than likely win you the game. Next up, you have Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat has a lot of extra utility in Ojamas. You can summon Ojama blue off it in addition to your normal Rescue Cat targets. By summoning 2 Ojama blues, resolving both those Ojama blues, using one of those Ojama blues to search country magic, do the country magic play, you are netting roughly a +7 or 8, which is a huge advantage off of just a single card. from there, the sky's the limit, really. You have 2 Arabellums in this deck. This can be specialed off Rescue Cat, or it can be summoned off your Nimble Mega Hamsters in order to do Ancient Fairy plays. 1 Raikou to be summoned off your Nimble Mega Hamster. 1 Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk is very useful in this deck because you do have Ojama magic along with other spells that you can discard for it. You can use it to summon your Rescue Cat, and then you can do Arcanite Magician plays, which are very powerful. Nibble Mega Hamster has plenty of targets in this deck, with Ojama Blue as your main one, a Raikou for supplemental utility, and Arabellums. 2 Caius, you have a lot of tribute fodder that is generated in this deck, making Caius very powerful. I would consider playing 3, but as I said before, it's important to note that its attack and defense will be switched with Ojama Country. So you have to be very careful about that, because a lot of times when you tribute summon Caius, it's because you have the fodder off a country, but then you kind of pigeonhole yourself into not being able to summon more Ojamas. Card destruction is very powerful in this deck. Can be used to trigger Ojama magic, or after you triggered Ojama magic, for a sick +3 in real card advantage, cards from your deck that aren't vanillas. Heavy Storm, Pot of Avarice is very good because it allows you to put these normals back in the deck, so you can still resolve your Ojama magics if you hard draw an Ojama. Call the Haunted has plenty of good targets in this deck. Gagiltron, Blue, Rescue Cat, Summoner Monk among them. Fiendish Chain over things like Deep Prison, because this deck is vulnerable to certain monster effects like Brionac or Black Rose, and you really want to make sure those don't resolve. You also want to make sure Caiuses don't resolve on you. Along with that, some staple traps. The extra deck is pretty standard. A few things to note is the additional level 5 synchros due to the Ojamas being level 2 and Arabellum being level 3. Couple Arcanite for the Summoner Monk, Ancient Fairy for searching field spells triggering Gear Town, and for being a big attacker under Ojama Country. Well, I hope you guys like the deck. Now, funny enough, there is a CMO video that is playing a similar variant of this deck. Now, CMO and company had stolen that list from the Ojama Discord from my friend without giving him credit or even mentioning how exactly they got it. Now they made a mockery of the deck. Now it was an unrefined version. I think in a way that was a little bit disrespectful, not to discuss the origins at all. So please pay homage to Ojama Garrett's the true inventor of this deck. His link will be in the Discord, or in it will be below. Please check it out, guys. Have a good day.